What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to the FIFA 19 Pro Clubs video. I just want to say before we start this video, thank you guys so much for the massive support in 2018. We set a goal of reaching 10,000 subs on the channel. We actually surpassed that, and we are close to reaching 12K subs on the channel. So, of course, if you're new to the channel, make sure you guys smash the sub button for more FIFA 19 and Pro Clubs content in the future. That would be much appreciated. All love to all of you guys. And also, guys, don't forget, if you guys enjoyed this video or you find it helpful, make sure you guys smash the thumbs up. Don't break it. Smash it. Leave it for someone else to also click the like button. That would be so much appreciated. Today on this video, we're going to be giving you guys all the information about the traits and specialties. I cannot say that word. Specialties. Something like that. I know I'm saying it wrong, but we're going to give you guys all the information on traits and specialties that are on FIFA 19, but focusing a lot on pro clubs. Now, there's a lot of traits in the game that other people might not understand. If you just got the game or for Christmas, or you got the game back in when they released in September 25th, there's a lot of things in games that some people still don't know, and I myself just learned about that EA actually have a whole freaking website, a whole forum of traits explaining what each trait does and so on and so forth. Some of them are self-explanatory, but some of them actually hard to kind of really understand and kind of do in games. Some of them are broken, like the Finesse trait, which we'll explain in a second. But let's jump in right into it, and we'll go ahead and show you guys and explain each and a couple. We'll explain those that are in pro clubs, I guess. This video is going to be long, by the way. I know it's starting long already. It's going to be a pretty long video because it's traits. There's a lot of things to touch on. But let's do this. Let's go. And first things first, on this screen, I'm going to show you guys. This is, again, is the EA forum that EA shared with us. Yes, we are lucky enough for EA to share this with us. And we're going to be using this a couple of times because we're going to switch back and forth. But this is pretty much explaining what a trait is on on FIFA 19. So the difference between a trait and specialty. What is a trait? A trait is pretty much a trait is a trait that gives you an advantage in game. So a trait gives you an advantage in game. If you have a trait like the Swerve Pass, let's say you have the Swerve Pass on your striker and you're playing left wing and you have a partner that's on the right wing, cut it inside. If you have the Swerve Pass as a striker and you press triangle, which is a through ball on PS4, or if you're on Xbox, you press Y, it's going to give you a curve to that back post or the right wing player making the run inside. That's what the benefit of a trait, of having a trait on. There, it actually adds a layer of, I guess, ability or something to kind of an advantage to the game. But a specialty does not add that to the game. A specialty just kind of let you know what type of player that is. It tells you if a player, let's say a poacher, it tells you if a player has like 80 plus finishing and so on and so forth. Like an aerial threat, a player with the specialty aerial threat means that the player has to be about 188 centimeters or a 6'1", or I think a 6'2" is what is one of the categories that you have to be to get a specialty. And we'll explain that in a second, but I just wanted to explain what the trait is compared to a specialty. And here on the screen, you guys can see you can have a standard trait, which is just it affects the player both controlled by human, which in pro clubs you have yourself if you're playing in any position, and also it can also be where you controlling an AI, which is just a computer. If someone's not in that position, or even if you're an any and you're controlling an AI, that is a trait that applies. So if you see CPU AI as an option on that trait, that means that only CPU AI has this in kind of that sense, or when you're controlling CPU AI, you have that. And also there's traits for career mode in which we're not going to focus on that much, even though on this, EA did put a lot of the traits that are on career mode. They about Vitro Pro, they will put career mode in Vitro Pro. A lot of it is actually in Pro Clubs, which is in the hidden trait or passive trait video that I just put out on Friday. Make sure you guys check that video out because that will help you guys out. But just wanted to explain this before we even jump in and check everything that's over on the consoles first and on the game first, and then we'll go ahead and kind of scroll through this whole thing and explain that. So let's go over on console and check what's on the game already if you guys didn't know, and then we'll go through that pretty quick, and then we'll go ahead and explain what each of the traits are and also the specialties. So first, here we are on FIFA 19 right away. I switch it back quick. I'm quick like that. We're gonna go into the trait skill tree. And so, of course, to get a trait on FIFA 19, you have to have skill points. And skill points, again, you need to play games, and you can earn all 110 skill points. That's the max you can get, unless you do that skill point trait glitch, which I'm never going to show you guys, because that's a glitch that actually I think got patched. But you can get that. You can actually get skill points by just playing regular Pro Clubs game. You can play 100 regular Pro Club games instead of drop-in matches, because drop-ins don't give you skill points, and you get all the 110. But a couple of ones that are already in the game for Pro Clubs in FIFA 19. You have the second win, which this gives you if your team is losing 1-0, if your team is losing in general, it doesn't have to be 1-0, it doesn't have to be a draw. If your team is losing in the 70th minute, this will kick in and give you extra energy. This is very effective, especially for, you know, CDM that's running a lot. If you're just running a lot in general, you have this on. If you have that on, that's kind of what it does. Next, you have the injury free. Now, the injury free, do not confuse this with injury prone, which we do not have injury prone actually in pro clubs, but you do have it in other modes. But if you don't get that confused, because injury free is actually, it reduces the likeliness of your player getting injured. So if you're center back and you kind of fall down in an injury, you might stay down if you don't have this for that long. But if you have this on, sometimes you will react faster and your player will actually get up even though he's still injured, and it's kind of, you can still see the injury thing right next to his name. You will have that. On the defensive section, you don't really have anything for that section. I don't know why they don't have acrobatic clearance on, but that is a hidden trait which you can't seem to get on FIFA 19. I kind of couldn't work that out, see how that works out. But the next one you have is the flare trait. Now, the flare trait actually took a couple of traits from FIFA 16 and 17 and kind of combined them. So the flare trait has a couple of things. If you have the flare trait on, you can do bicycle kicks with it, you can do fancy pass, and you can do fancy flicks, which all of those three were actually a trait back in 16 and even 15. I think even 17 you were able to get this. But on 19, even with the hidden trait video that I put out, you cannot seem to get the fancy pass or fancy flicks, but because you have the flare trait, you're able to do that, and that's pretty simple. But that's pretty much what the flare trait does. But you can also do bicycle kicks without even having the flare trait on if you just have 80 agility. That's pretty simple. If you guys didn't watch the video that I explained about that, that's also on the channel. It's an update that EA did to the game because bicycle kick was pretty overpowered. But again, bicycle kick, you can actually get that trait. You can actually get the bicycle kick trait if you wanted, but you don't really need it. It's a hidden trait, and you can just watch that video that I put out, and you'll be able to get that. Now, I know I'm talking fast, but there's a lot of things to explain. I don't want to make this video like 20 minutes. So I want to be able to cover as much as possible on this video for you guys. And if you guys have any question, put in the link, put your comment section in the comment section, and I will be able to answer that for you. Now the next one we have is the one that I already explained a little bit of, is the Swerve Pass. Now Swerve Pass is probably one of the most one of the traits that I don't see a lot of players using. Now if you're a striker like myself, short pass is one of your primary traits. So that's why you actually see me put my short pass on here, just so I can get the Swerve Pass. I get the Swerve Pass as well, and I get the short passing. What Swerve Pass does, again, as I explained, it bends your through balls even better. So if you do a through ball to someone that's on the opposite side of the field as you, if you don't have this on, the ball will actually go straight. But if you do have this on, the ball will actually bend towards them a little bit, and that gives you a big help. Especially in 11v11 competitive. I have done this in the Olympus series, and a couple people ask me how to do this. If you guys are wondering, this is the trait you want to put on if you want to put those deadly through balls when you're on the wing and you see your partner running through, or you see your teammate running through on goal and you want to get that ball to him. That's what you want to use. That's what it does. Again, hold triangle on PS4 or Y if you have that trait, and it will work perfectly. The next one trait you have on pro clubs right now that is not a hidden trait is actually the giant throw-in. Now this is something that you can use as a fullback, and sometimes you'll see midfielders use it, or even center backs, but this just allow you to throw the ball farther down the line if you wanted to, just by holding square on PS4, or just by holding the cross button. Pretty much it's what it is, the square on PS4, or the, I believe it's X on Xbox if I'm correct me, but you just hold this if you have this trait, and your player will throw the ball pretty far. The next one that we have in the passing category in pro clubs, it is the set piece specialist. Now don't confuse this with the free kick specialist, because that's a free kick specialist is actually a specialty, not a trait. But the set plate specialist actually is when you're taking a free kick and it's not a direct free kick. If you're trying to cross it in the box, and you have this little circle on the ground that you can keep moving around, if you have this on, that circle, instead of it vibrating when you're trying to move it, it actually just stays in one spot. So if you're taking a corner, if you want to try to put it first post, if you have this on, you can just pretty much put it for the post and it will stay there. It will not move until you pretty much put the power on the ball. But if you do not have this, you will put it first post, and that, you know, that circle is going to keep moving for some reason. It's just because you don't have this on. This is pretty much what the set play specialist does. A lot of cams use this, especially if they're taking corners, especially if they're trying to cross the ball into the area. It's very effective. Next one, we're going to go into the shooting category. We have a couple here. The one that a lot of people has been questioning and asking me about is the finesse shot one. Now, a lot of people asking me, is this worth it? To be honest, no, it's not really. You don't really need to use it, but I know strikers that use it. But me, myself, I score a lot of goals without this trait on because I do time finishing. One thing I will tell you guys is try to learn how to time finish, which I will be doing finishing tutorials soon. But try to learn how to do time finishing, because time finishing finesse shots outside the box are beautiful, are so OP in the game, and you do not need this trait. But if you use this trait, it just gives you it increases the effectiveness in front of goal. But I don't really see the use of it being that much. I have actually never used it on FIFA 19, or even on FIFA 18. I didn't use this. And if you do the hidden trait glitch and you get the outside the foot shot, actually it makes it even more useless to use this trait, because you can shoot both outside the foot and you can also still have a decent finesse shot, because finesse shot on FIFA 19, even without this trait, is going to be overpowered. Now, next things we have is going to be the power header. Now, this is a trait, of course, that just adds extra power to your headers. And this is where a lot of CBs will use this if they're going up for corners to get some headers in there. And also as a striker, if you're playing pretty tall, you can use this to give you a little advantage. It helps a lot, but that's one of the other things you can use. Now, there's a couple of traits that are not on pro clubs for outfield players, which are hidden traits again. And again, here's a video on the channel. Again, here's the video that I made on Friday. Make sure you guys check out this video, because this video will give you pretty much the option to get those hidden traits. They are not in pro clubs, even though they might be in career mode, which we will talk about in a second. And then the last two traits that we do have in pro clubs that are not hidden or passive traits are actually the goalkeeper traits. We have the goalkeeper long throw. Now, if you have the goalkeeper long throw, if you hold X, you can throw the ball pretty long. If you just start playing goalkeeper, this is probably one of the traits you first want to put on. But again, as you guys notice, when I play goalkeeper, as I'll show you guys in a second here, I do have both my long throw and also my flat kick on. If you play goalkeeper, let me know how the flat kick works. But I believe if you hold R1 in circle, you will actually kick the ball pretty far. But pretty much as you guys can see, when I play goalkeeper, I'm a 91 goalkeeper, even though I haven't played goalkeeper that much. When I do play goalkeeper, I have these on, and being able to distribute the ball like Ederson or like Allison in real life is very important, because there are teams that like that, especially competitive teams like that, but sometimes you might just have to get rid of it. But this is what long throw does for you. And then again, the flat kick just improves your accuracy of your kicks. So I believe if you hold R1 with this flat kick, you can kick the ball pretty far. Again, if you are a goalkeeper, you're watching this video, let me know what that is, if that's what it does. But I know it does improve your kicks if you just press square as well. But I know the R1 circle is a very powerful kick as well if you're using this. But now, guys, we're going to switch over to the PC. Again, I did say this video is going to be long, so stay with me, because we're going to explain a couple of the other traits that are actually in-game, but we cannot see in pro clubs because they are hidden. Or we're also gonna show you guys what the specialty is on how to get that. So first thing, let's jump it over to PC, and we're gonna pretty much explain all that stuff right now. And here we are. Now we are on PC. Here is the link that I'm using from EA. I'm going to show you guys real quick. Again, the finesse shots right there tells you what it does. Again, I'll leave this in the description for you guys to check out. But we're only going to focus on the ones that we haven't explained. Again, the finesse shot is there. It tells you exactly what it does. Again, it tells you that the finesse shot can only, when you have this trait on, is only when the ball is on the ground. So I'm guessing if the ball's in the air and you're trying to do a finesse shot, it might not be effective. So again, that is the reason why I really don't use it. You can see you can get that as a Vitro Pro in pro clubs and in career mode. You can get it in many modes. But the one thing, the other one that I did not talk about, that's also not on pro clubs in FIFA 19, is the outside the foot shot. That is a hidden trait that you can get on FIFA 19. And that, again, if you guys watch my hidden trait video, you will be able to get this. And it just tells you exactly what it does. It's pretty much like, if you guys know who Quaresma is, it's pretty much called a trivela, is what we call it in Portugal or in Portuguese. That is pretty much what it's called when you shoot it like this. Here's a video of Quaresma doing it. It's pretty simple, but if you have this, you don't even need the finesse shot, because it's going to give you that little extra added power. And it tells you pretty much what it does with it. A player with this trait have reduced difficulty executing an accurate outside the foot shot. That's pretty much pretty much the description of it. But again, the link for all of these will be in there if you guys check out. I have explained power header. It will tell you exactly kind of what all of it does. It will give you all of this, this link actually gives you pretty much an explanation of everything, every single trait in the game. You got long throwing, you got giant throwing. Long throwing, you do not have it in game, in pro clubs, but you do have the giant throwing. The giant throwing actually makes the ball go farther than the long throwing. If you guys didn't know that, the early crosser is a trait that is a hidden trait. Again, that hidden trait video is very, very good video, so you guys might want to check it out because it's gonna give you a lot of things like that. The takes powerful free kick. This one, driven free kick, is actually also called the power free kick. Now on here, I don't know why they named it like that, but if you have the powered free kick, you can get it. As you guys can see, it says Vitro Pro, only able to get it on the career mode, but actually it is a hidden trait as well, and it's called the driven free kick or the power free kick, which I did again make a video on, and you guys can check that out. Now Twirl, again, that is for the passing. It gives you a lot of accurate outside of the foot shot. I think this might be, I think the description is actually wrong because that is actually the passing that is supposed to fall down. The standard doesn't really work that well, but it is what it is. Now, we go into the fancy passes. Again, I did explain the flare on FIFA 19. You do not need the fancy passes trait because of the fact that the flare trait on pro clubs kind of does that. It does both the fancy passes with it. You can do fancy flicks with it because that's also a trait, and you can also do bicycle kicks with it. So you don't need those 3 other traits to get it, but it is a trait. It is not a hidden trait though. You cannot get this actually in pro clubs because the flare trait's already on there. Just wanted to explain that to you guys so you guys understand it. Again, all the description of everything what it does, it's in there, but again, I did explain a couple of it what it is. And here is the injury prone that I did say. Don't get confused between injury prone and injury free. And if you guys see a player, again, a center back that I did test this on, if you have the injury free on, which is a trait in pro clubs, which is not hidden actually, you will get the solid player on your trait when you're checking it in game as a captain. You will see that. That just means you have the injury free on. That means if you get injured, you will be able to, you know, it reduces the chance of you getting injured when you get into a collision. And the injury prone is something you will not be able to get into pro clubs at all. It's not even able to get as a hidden trait. And then you have the other traits for goalkeepers. Rush out of goal, that's something you cannot get on pro clubs. Goalkeeper caution with cross, you can't get that either. Goalkeeper comes for corners. That is something that's also more, I think, more in career mode as well. You can't get it in pro clubs. Save with foot, I think this should be a trait in pro clubs because I see a lot of goalkeepers get beat with low shots, and this is something that De Gea does pretty well, but they don't have that. And here it says flat kick. I cry in this trait in career mode. What player like to perform driven side free kick. So it is with R1. That is how you do it. But again, any of you guys are goalkeepers, let me know how to do this. It just pretty much explains you how to do it. Goalkeeper Vitro Pro, you can perform by holding R1. I'm guessing circle. So again, if you're a goalkeeper, explain that a little bit to us. I think if you just do R1 circle, that's kind of how you execute it. Goalkeeper long throw, again, that is just a long throw. Bicycle kicks, again, you do not need this in pro clubs, but you can get it as a hidden trait if you really wanted to. Now, the set piece specialist, I would explain. The second wing, I would explain. Leadership, one club player, which I wish a lot of people were, but those is something you're not going to be able to get onto that. A lot of these are just traits that are career mode based or computer based. So a lot of them are not, and I'm actually surprised you don't have a trait for a playmaker, but there is a specialty for it. But nonetheless, let's jump into the specialty side of things. Now, specialties is a bit different. Now, specialty is something where when you go into pro clubs and you go into career mode as a career mode. When you go into pro club and you go into the lobby as a captain and you're checking if you have a trait, you can actually check about specialties to kind of tell you what type of player it is. Remember, a trait gives you an advantage in game, but a specialty does not give you an advantage in game. It just tells you what type of player that person is. So if you have a complete forward, you have pretty much a couple of traits. You have a couple of specialties that are added together. As you guys can see here, it will tell you that it will not give you any advantage towards your player. It just tells you what type of player you are. So the first one we have is Poacher. So to get Poacher as a player, you need 85 plus. You need 85 plus. Finishing, had an accuracy of 85, and then a work rate of low or medium. In pro clubs, both your work rate are medium. You can never go high or low on those. It just always becomes medium. I do not know how to improve it. Don't even think there's a way to improve it. But that's how you get Poacher. Decent shooting in your long shot of 87 plus and shot power of 87 plus. So a lot of strikers will have both Poacher and distant shooter. Clinical finisher as well. As long as you have long shot of 80 plus and 86 finishing plus, you will be able to get that as well. These are just, again, specialties that don't give you an advantage. It just tells you what you have as a player. So someone can just check your card and will exactly tell you what type of stats you have without even looking at your stats. Now, the one that's very important here is the area threat. This is a specialty that you can get mostly for midfielders. Center backs also get this because these are a lot of that. So you have the 75 accuracy plus 75 plus accuracy. You need 85 plus for jumping, and you need 85 plus for strength. So that is something that center back can definitely get. And then your player has to be 188 centimeters, or I think it's 6'1" or 6'2" in inches. I think that's what it is, or in foots. That's pretty much what it is if you want to get that specialty. Now, you do have the free kick specialist. You need to get 86 plus on free kick accuracy. So a cam can get this. I don't think a striker can, but you might try to if you put all your free kick on and see if you can get 86 plus. I don't think you can. I think that's pretty tough. And also the curve is 85 plus, so that might be very tough for a striker. But I know for a cam, you should be able to get the free kick specialist. A dribbler, obviously, if you have 86 plus dribbling and 75 plus balance, you will be able to get it. Playmaker, 86 plus. On your short pass, your long pass needs to be 73 plus, and then your vision needs to be 86 plus. And then for your cross, you have a cross that you need 86 plus. Pretty much everything is there if you guys want to read it. Again, I'm not going to go through all of them because it's so long, but that just pretty much tells you everything in this video that I kind of want to explain. But here is the most kind of like specialty that you need to kind of pay attention a little bit to. If you see your player have a complete forward, that means it has a couple of the above specialists that we already talked about. You have a couple of those. You either have you have the Poacher with the addition of 2 of clinical finisher, speedster, aerial threat, dribbler, or strength. Pretty much how it gets explained. It explains to you exactly how you get it, guys. I'm not gonna make this video any longer than it is already. It's probably already 15 minutes. But if you guys wanted to know how you get all of these, again, you can just go on this link and it will explain each and every single thing for you guys. And then goalkeeper save style. This is where I need to focus a little bit though, because there's 2 types of goalkeepers. You cannot switch it back like you used to on FIFA 17 or 16. You used to be able to switch between acrobatic and when you had an acrobatic, you had better reflex and diving. But when you had a traditional, you had better, you were able better to kick the ball better. But actually, if you read this, it says acrobatic, the keeper will make reflex saves using agile animation that often have them to go to the ground. So that means if you're acrobatic, you will be better making low saves. But if you are traditional, you will be better making saves on your feet. So that means you do have a weakness if you're traditional when you're going down low. And if you're tall, probably even a bigger factor. Now, this is not confirmed. I'm just kind of thinking basically on what I'm reading. But pretty much that is pretty much the whole video. If you guys enjoyed it, make sure you guys smash the thumbs up. Don't forget to smash subscribe for more pro clubs and FIFA 19 content in the future. But guys, I will put the link for this because it's a long thing. It's pretty much for everything. It's pretty much for foot, career mode, pro clubs. But again, we only focus on pro clubs because that is what the channel is about. Again, thank you guys so much for watching, and we will catch you guys later. Peace.